Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Today, once again, it is us, half of the Phil boys. Ellie wasn't feeling well, so we had to go ahead and do it without him. But as you know, it is I, Sean Anthony, the one and only. And then two other people I don't really know. I guess co-workers.
No, no. Some things won't even be entertained with a thought, especially when it
Well,
comes to Ward Elliott. One of you is enough, trust me. So what we will be talking about today was a topic proposed by you.
yes. Today we'll be talking about the difference between reality and fiction, as well as the in between that sometimes connects the two. It's going to be a very talkative topic because let's be honest, everybody has some sort of fantastical thing that they've either watched or played, and they're always sitting there thinking, huh, you know, there's some real connections between reality and this fiction. But as for right now, we're going to just go ahead and do a little bit of talking before the show starts. Let some people get up in here. To which I'll go ahead and ask this question, Matthew. What what show or game or anything that's a little that has a dab of fiction do you think has at least a bit of reality that somebody can take out of it?
Now, for this, I have to go over my favorite. Okay, I'm not going to say that. But let me think. Maybe Mickey Mouse.
How would how would Mickey Mouse have any sort of? I mean,
Game. Mickey Mouse is in multiple games, possibly.
You mean Kingdom of Hearts?
Yes, but we don't talk about that.
I'm very concerned about this. Where is the reality that I can go ahead and grapple onto in this game?
Nothing.
You do realize I'm trying to say that you got to practice the
If I
reality.
had to say it would be GTA.
Hmm.
Hi.
What makes you say that?
You know about GTA 5?
Gotta be
And
careful.
for another date. This is an interrogation or a confession box. This is just me asking the question.
Oh, it will be an intervention after this.
But Papa, what's the game that you can take all of fiction but only a little bit of reality?
Well, to be honest, Matthew, that would be Assassin's Creed. Because to be fair, it does talk a lot about history, but then there's just me going around doing whatever I so desire.
Like murdering and climbing and
Yeah, sounds a lot like
Tarzan.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, pretty much.
As for me, what are my favorite games?
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, there's Mortal Kombat. I can do that.
11.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
Although I don't know about Mortal Kombat so much, Teddy, because I don't know if you get your ribs broken or your eyeballs poked out. I think you're dead. I think it's just gone.
That is true, but however, the move sets they're based on reality. I don't know if you hit a person in the air and they just stay there. That's
I don't know if it's humanly possible.
obviously not realistic.
And I don't think it's humanly possible.
But isn't that what video games
People
are?
still leave.
It's one of the it's just an imitation of reality, exaggerated.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Games are supposed to become
'Cause think
real
about it.
life.
Some games about the only thing that you have that's real is gravity. In some of them.
Yeah, don't look at Minecraft. Minecraft's a perfect representation of life.
But let me ask you, all of you, who have joined or re-watching this, and even you two, what do you think? Well, my bad, I lost my train of thought. Y'all go while I try to think.
Well, so right. Down there is the banner. This it helps us. It helps us more stuff for the program, such as lights, recordings. It helps us with all the devices and everything that helps us make this show. So please, if you can, if you got anything you want to give, go ahead and put it in the banner. Go ahead and go to that Cash App down below. And
Unless you just Cash App glitch.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Basically, the Cash App glitch was a glitch that gave you a lot of money, but a Cash App recognized it and then made people broke beyond repair. There are millions if not trillions of dollars broke.
Why would you be doing that?
I mean, yeah, Matthew, I get that. That's definitely a reality of some sort of fantasy. You think, oh, I'm spending money that's not real, and then all of a sudden the infinite money glitch breaks, and now you in debt.
No, the Cash App glitch was something in Cash App that you do, and then it gives you a lot of money. But then Cash App figured it out and made people broke.
Fixed it. So,
and then made people in debt, very in debt, broke beyond repair. They're broker than anybody on this planet. Broker than a newborn baby.
Before you get him started on his rant,
a newborn baby is in debt or broke, I'm very concerned here.
Basically, he's saying we're all born into debt.
Well,
so what did you want to go over? But first, let me start by saying I know that I have been a while since it's been a while since we've been on.
Yeah,
it's been a lot going on in the background. Even today, it's still a lot going on. But we're trying to make time for you all here today. Thank you for staying with us. I know that what was it? It was 2 times that we haven't been on. It's been a lot. And now one of us is sick. Hopefully he'll be back next Wednesday.
Oh, you're sick?
Only hope and pray.
But that was...
Well, yeah, he's sick. Can you blame him? The weather this whole summer has been wonky. 1 minute is...
The thing about low. The weather is either incredibly unbearably hot or, well, you best have better covers type cold.
Or it's just raining. And
yeah, that's a whole right.
So much rain. It's been flash floods over here. It's been damaging things. That might have been what the internet was. Might have got to the tower over here.
Okay, but
messing up everybody's expectation of, I'm going to be online today and stay indoors.
Okay, tell you what, I'm just going to be indoors for a second. Hold that thought for a second. I have to say this before I lose my thought again. But Papa will tell you, and even the viewers, what do you think about some video games becoming more realistic to the point where you can feel everything that is in the game?
No, I've seen what they're trying to do with that whole augmented reality vest, where they want you to feel things, which is fear that was the.
Don't get me wrong. If you're an extreme gamer and you really want to be able to be like, oh, I should dodge this, or you need some sort of incentive to be like, yeah, I need to remember why I need to dodge this. Then you definitely, because think about it, in some video games, you don't know why you died. You could have been shot in the back, but guess what? You didn't see it, and you didn't feel it. But guess what? With a vest on, you will definitely be like, oh, there was somebody behind me. I felt that. And then you know, yeah, when I get to that part, there's someone behind me. I need to go ahead and avoid that.
Yeah, but why would I want to feel such a thing, probably?
For the realism. Sometimes you just sit there and you're like, this video game's boring. If only I could feel the emotional strain that my character's feeling as he's running through this hot place, through this lava area as a human. If only I knew what that felt like.
Heat stroke.
again, why would I want to? That would be the equivalent
Teddy,
of
think about.
doing a Mario run level. That
Hold
was
on,
the
Teddy,
whole
think
board
about
was
this.
lava. Why would I want to be feeling
Well,
all of that?
hold on, Teddy, think about this. If you could be in Minecraft, playing Minecraft, and then you will hear the warden or something, and quite literally
What
anything.
the heck is that?
The warden.
Mm, no.
Yeah. To be fair,
That'd be
that
funny.
probably is a horrible idea. Because if an enemy is like an instant kill, you don't want to feel all that pain. Just assume that they make it so that you can turn the pain up. That's the only way somebody will really put. If you're able to turn it from a one faint pinch, nine, oh, you were honestly feeling it, but not to the point, to the extent of the play, not to the extent of the character you're playing. Even
You
then,
know,
I really don't want to deal with that.
But but
didn't
what I'm saying,
Japan
what I'm saying is where at at that point, like you can feel and the impact is just like it is in the game. So basically, I could put a chef's plate it or something on the wall. Oh, and then I turn the paint up to like 1 million or something, and press that again at the wall, and boom.
That would probably be the biggest problem. People will go ahead and mess with the set and be like, I want to feel everything, and then they make something that you can act that actually hurts to the point where it's like, yeah, you pretty much been cut.
again. Why would I want to do that?
Well,
And
Here's
here's the
it's
thing.
torture.
Just thinking about it as a body from a what's it, anatomical level. Why would I want to do that? The human anatomy, it it doesn't it doesn't know the difference, especially your sympathetic nervous system. It does not know the difference. Your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. It doesn't know the difference between being in real danger and being in, well, you're just stressed. Why would I want to create more stress in a virtual fictionist reality and then come out of the game that was supposed to be a stress relief into a stressful life, and then I'm having a nervous breakdown? You see, this is why the world needs psychologists, because there's going to be a lot of people that need it.
because I think a psychologist would just tell you, don't get that. That is unhealthy. Why are you doing this? And then when somebody says, because I'm a true gamer or I got this, or it's a really cool thing, yeah, you kind of don't want that. Plus, what happens as a psychologist is actually just a gamer looking for a discount, and they're like, you should give that away right away. In fact, you should sell it online for, looks at budget, $25. Cold turkey immediately.
Okay, I have another question for the viewers and y'all. Oh, how do you feel about getting teleported in games? But you can't for real die. You can't die permanently. You
I
froze
mean,
the
that's a
game.
whole different. That's a whole different question,
You
man.
can still feel. You can still feel pain, get wet, get burned, or heck, it's
Now, you've
reality.
been watching,
But in the
you've been
game,
watching too much TV, haven't you?
Well,
the
Matthew, I'm afraid that's a question we can't really answer because of the fact that no human has ever felt the effect of teleportation. And if you're saying, and if this question is because somehow you have felt what it's like to be teleported, I'm very concerned because what you pretty much told me is, um,
I
you
have not made online purchases without y'all's knowledge. Trust me. Don't check. Like, let's say iPay, Amazon, MySpace.
What?
You know what? We just gonna get back on topic a little bit. So,
'Cause you,
well, we're Matthew pretty much had it directly on the point, on the on point. Because what this entire discussion is about is both reality and fantasy, as well as the divide between it that kind of connects it. Because think about it, it doesn't really have to just be games. When you're reading a horror story, there's always that tiny sliver of reality that hides it, even in it. Because technically, you got to have some sort of reality in this situation, even if it isn't, even if the monster and stuff isn't real. You have to have something that's like, yeah, this kind of doesn't make a little sense, and but this part kind of does. So, in other words, this question is pretty much. So, in other words, my question is, what reality is more connected with Yao? What's a reality that, in a film, a movie, a book, or anything that could go ahead that you've seen and, or read or played that hits you and it's like, this is a bit more of reality than I initially thought. Because, for example, yesterday I cooked that meal for everybody, right? And what y'all probably didn't notice is that meal was completely fake. I didn't learn a single thing from a dude who actually was cooking it or anything. I pretty much watched the show and I was like, oh, sweet. And then got some herbs and spices and mixed it together and made that. So in all honesty, that was completely fabricated. That was fantasy, and I just pretty
I
much
mean,
feel
it
like
wouldn't be fantasy. What it is an art. And art quite literally is making nothing into something.
Okay,
It
if I had to
they
say,
it exists in even like film. You, for example, you've cooked food from the show Food Wars from before as
you
well.
cannot say that.
It is it is it basically is real. It an art is an imitation of art versus reality. That's all it was. Sorry, this keep making me lose focus.
yeah, I think the nervousness is starting
What
to
did
kick
you?
in because you're now sitting there like, wait, the food that I was fed last night was it real? What the world was this? What was it?
Yeah, that too. And then there's the fact that we're missing one of us.
And I would say for
Never mind that. I didn't make a mistake. In fact, I made sure
I do
personally
have to
that
say
it was.
this. Well, that's all, Papa. I do have to say this because of YouTube and its guidelines. If you are not over 18, and please do not watch Food Wars, or unless you're, well, mature. Or
I mean, basically, Matthew, nobody's playing GTA 5 at your age. Yeah, you completely forgot about that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's PG. It is a PG-13 thing, and you are under parental guidance all the time. Because let's face it,
no, I'm not.
yeah, you are.
I'm not even real. I'm not even here. I'm in my room, sick.
But no, the reason I really thought about this subject was because, yeah, I made that meal, but also the fact that I was sitting up a little bit because you know how Chat GPT and everything is evolved, right? So I was asking the thing earlier today, and I was like, okay, you know what? I want a story. Hey, mom, I'm happy to see you're
Hey,
here. Please
Happy
go ahead and join the discussion. We're pretty much asking questions like, what fantasy have you watched? In other words, any sort of cartoon, game, movie, novel, anything that has a lot of fantasy in it. What kind of reality can you take out of it? From food to quotes to any sort of thing that actually represents a little bit of the real world. Because, because the thing about it is, as much as I want to say that, because I've always been saying this, though people sit there and watch a cartoon or something, there's always those people who try to imitate it. But about it is, the more you imitate, when you look at these type of things, you're like, yeah, that's fantasy. But then there's also parts of the cartoon where you're watching it and it's like, yeah, that's realistic in some sort of. And that's pretty much what led me to this topic.
but yeah, what it is it's the question, the age-old question, but not really. of does life imitate art or does art imitate life? And I always say art imitates life to some extent because somebody has to pick up the pen in order to draw it. However, you can exaggerate aspects of life, such as even Star Wars with lightsabers. Somebody's actually going around, there's a whole team dedicated to it on YouTube trying to create real life lightsabers.
And if
Mm.
actually that's already happened a little bit. But if I had to promote the PayPal any other way, I would say, well, Cash App. I would say a donate to us so you can see the Erudition. And
Yeah, you try to come up with some Erudition type soap or something. I hate
Yeah.
to tell you that, too, but for right now, that's all fantasy. There ain't no realism in that.
Yeah, we don't know anything about making soaps. There is no animation team for an anime.
Although maybe if a show came out talking about just the base elements of how to make soap, I could go ahead and throw something together.
but I'll try my hardest to actually make
No.
it. Well, to convince us to make a shirt that you see Papa wearing. That's not ours.
Erudition Network shirt.
We'll try our hardest to get it to make the merch like an Erudition and cup and shirt for all of you to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, later
Plans for
on.
right now is exclusive
And also,
to me alone because no one else is
Like,
in it.
subscribe, and comment. And if you're rewatching this, comment. We'll still see your post.
All right.
And,
Papa,
and you can follow us on Twitch, Twitter/X, Facebook. Okay. And if you see us in the open outside of our house, do not feel afraid to say hi. But please
Don't feel afraid.
do not follow us in real life. I see.
he said don't be afraid. I think it broke up for you just now.
Above it, I thought Matthew said, "What expectations have not met reality and is most popular?" That is a good question. Probably the thought that we have flying cars. I don't know. We have some sort of food system that's sustainable, some sort of futuristic technology that we thought that we have somewhere over in the early 2000s. That was like, you know what? We don't, because in the early at like 2004, we thought, hey, we gonna have something in the future, and now we're somewhere in the future, and it's like, man, really disappointing that we kind of delayed any sort of technological evolvement instead, and the only thing we really have to show is here's an AI who can pretty much do this picture. It's not perfect, but it's something. And it's like,
I was thinking about I was just thinking about that. The Back to the Future, where
And Futurama.
they had jumped into the future in 2019. That's the time that they jumped in. No, what's it? I can't remember. 2014. I just lost my train
I
of
mean,
thought.
technically it doesn't matter because we did not come that far.
They jumped into the future, and we are now living in their future. They had expectations for the future that just
Some of them were right, maybe.
we have video call, which is nice, but a lot of expectations we didn't meet.
Like being able to fly.
One thing, at least we didn't go into that double tie thing. That shouldn't be.
And you can be happy for only one thing. Nothing.
Even Futurama, which just came back, it just got rebooted again after another 10 years. They keep on getting canceled and then coming back. They even had to switch up what the future looks like because now we have Alexa. AI is pretty much everywhere. it didn't go as expected. In some ways, it evolved past it. In other ways, it it died. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
You don't have an autonomous robot
it's a good thing they put.
or shoes. Unfortunately, that would be great. Self-tying shoes. Let's invent that.
I wouldn't put our expectations that high either. I don't know. Somebody look at our shoes and be like, "Man, what's the best way to tie it? What's the best way? What if somebody ties it differently?" Then you're going to sit there because let's be honest. I'm more happy by the fact that most shows were like, "This is the year 3000," because in all honesty, it at least we haven't failed people into those because uh, we kind of we really failed, bro. Look, I thought we were gonna have fun. I thought we would be colonizing space or something. I thought we would have plants that were half basil, half peppers, and so on and so forth. I thought we would overcome everything as humans to be even more technologically and even modernly evolved.
Papa, I thought we would have had the Carolina Reaper or mixed with all other spices is put into one pepper or
Yes,
grown
the use of
on mass
computers
produced.
and other technologies have definitely they over.
Yeah, they overmet expectations. But if somebody was to teleport into the freaking year of 2019 and go like, "Man, this is the future," and they hear somebody scream from across the room, "Hey, is the Earth flat?" They would instantly fall into a major depression and be like, "You know what? I'm going back. I don't need to be up here."
They would probably hurt the guy who said that.
Yeah, we haven't been back to the moon. They want to put people on Mars permanently, which is
Why won't you just put people on the moon?
Because as I said last week, the moon is a self-detonation device for me. You just put a chain on it, you bring it closer every single time, make the tides change. And sometimes you put
But what
another
if
chain and you
it's
throw it.
farther away from us? That means it won't be with us. That means no more nights.
And plus, I don't want to live on the moon. Moore's mass kind of proved to us that the moon is a very horrible thing that will someday smile as it comes down. And I don't want that. I think going to the moon is not good for anyone.
the one thing that I'm doing. If I was ever on the moon, I'm uh I'm drawing happy faces.
I'm taller than you. Look,
Why do that when you can find the moon, the man on the moon? You know, the dude who drives it.
No, it's fiction. It's all in your imagination.
Nah, that dude.
What's done? What can be done to start meeting expectations for some of these things?
You know what? In the words of a very wise person, I don't know.
That's horrible, Cheyenne.
I ain't no scientist. I ain't gonna tell you what we must do is we must evolve even more. Because in all honesty, what we thought, that's pretty much thought process last time before we came into this mess. We were like, we must evolve even further. We must reach higher expectations. We must have higher desires. And then you know what happened? Somebody climbed up Mount Everest and said, "Man, it's tall." And someone else said, "I can see it all the way from over here because the earth is flat." And then someone else said, "Breathing is dangerous." And then as soon as all those people got together in one room, all human evolution just stopped. It's like everything in your brain was like, "You know what? You don't deserve us no more." And it just popped out of our brains and went somewhere else, probably to a better species. Because I hate to tell you, we kind of suck.
Okay, now it's time
Well, that was
for a
very
conspiracy
pessimistic,
theory.
Cheyenne.
Now it's time for a conspiracy theory. I bet in 10 or 9 years, 10 or 5 years, we will have flying cars.
She just asked, what can be done to start meeting expectations? And you gave a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and we give
So
higher expectations.
how do we get that? Let's not set more unrealistic and heighten our expectations so high that we end up disappointed again. How do
I
we make
mean,
a reality?
I mean,
And
to
one
be
thing
fair,
that we
though,
have is self-tying shoes.
Jet engine. Go.
I will be honest though. We have one thing that's working in our favor because, in all honesty, the fantastical idea of flying cars and everything has been studied. In all honesty, we have looked at least a little bit into it. We also looked into, in all honesty, what we pretty much did was we watched movies, we watched all this stuff, and we were like, "Huh, you know what?" And scientists actually looked into it, and we're like, "Why is the moon? Would the moon be colonizable? What the is is um is flying cars a possibility? Could we find greener energy that would last us centuries?" In all honesty, we're more in the experimental phase of the future where we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And though it's not going quite well because some humans are like, I don't understand this, and I don't understand this. I'm going to drive back into time and figure out why this is here and why that's here. And you know what? I hate to say it, but that's kind of dad's problem right there. He go have to deal with those people who go back in time.
You know what's crazy about the whole idea of space and other life forms being out there? The fact
The
that
fact that it's fully possible, because it's literally impossible for us stupid beings to be the only inhabitants of the entire universe.
well, there's that, but there's also the fact that how do you, if you were to go and meet these other beings, how do you know that they don't have similar issues to what's going on here?
How do you know
Because
that they're not their
even
original?
in the movies, we have an expectation of, oh, they're all gonna be on one accord to invade. Maybe it'll be just a little platoon of people, but a whole species is gonna come and invade you and take over. How does that work when all of us are human, but it's just oh little minute differences that set us apart? Because even politically, racially, all of these different aspects that they have to consider just for us to be on one accord, and then it divides us into groups, and then you get nowhere.
If aliens come to invade and they bring down normal guns and bullets, I'm going to be so immeasurably disappointed because it will be the fact that another expectation has far furthered itself from reality. Because in other words, we gonna be like, it's aliens. And imagine if it's just a minute change, like their ears are pretty much elephant ears. And it's like, so in other words, it's just humans with bigger ears, and that's it. And I'd be so absolutely angry that I would just I leave.
Flying cars would be
But
cool. It would cut down on travel costs. Yes, but how to make them fly?
Jet
Would we
engine.
have to use magnets on the jet fuel?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Or you just go ahead and put a nice Mario loop into it. Give it raccoon powers. Drive as fast as you can, and then when you hear that sound, just click the A button and
Or you
boom.
just use the
Yeah.
shackle to appear every time you talk.
No.
Oh wait, I
Hey,
forgot.
that,
That
that,
lamp.
Never
the raccoon power will just make you fall slower, and then you might fall into the void and get a game over. What you need that red star from Mario Galaxy. That's what you need. Because when the music stops, that when the music starts to stop, that's when you know that it's about to all go down.
Or you could just use
again. Y'all
use a
been watching
very
too much
giant,
anime and video games.
or you could just use a very giant magnet and put it on the moon and sun and and, and watch it fly and watch yourself fly up, and then when you get too close to outer
Because here's
space,
what I was
you just
thinking.
go.
Add another magnetic force to the moon and the sun and pull us even closer to the sun at an even faster rate.
Because here's what I was thinking about the whole cars idea, the flying cars idea. You could do that, but you need you see how they're going with electric cars. They
Mhm.
are very hesitant on doing that because one, it costs a lot of money. I was thinking a long time ago, you could have magnets that repel each other,
Exactly.
and then you would technically be hovering.
Yeah, that's what I
But how
said.
would you how would you go about making all of the asphalt on the globe right now, the interstate, especially the interstate highways, which
Simple.
go just like that? People, we had to debate this before. The interstates are called the interstate highways because if you keep following them, they will take you to another state.
Well, Teddy, then we go into another fantastical
Oh,
idea.
hold on, Papa.
But if
He
you were
asked
to
the
make all the
question.
asphalt magnetic and then put a magnet that repels on the cars, you would be able to hover, but would they make the investment for that?
But hey, hold on. I need to say something.
And you could also stop a little bit of car accidents with that because if you have just same with magnets, the stronger, the more there are, the stronger it repels. So you can have one that just basically jumps over cars before they collide. However, how safe would it be?
Would you get flung into the air every time I tried? It's because the other magnet and below
Now,
the
I think
magnet.
it would just be, I think there would just be a bunch of magnets. In other words, it pull you down to the ground before you could ever bump into them. So
But
you
yeah,
just 1 second are going towards it, and then it's like, yep, boom, and it's
how
like, oh,
and how do you get back onto the
There's an
ground?
idea. If you're too close within the proximity of the car, it just
How would you get
flips
back to the
it
ground?
flips the magnet over and stops you dead center. It also makes it so that there is no hit and runs because the officers or authorities have to manually make the car.
oh no, there won't be any more human cops. We'll just have a bunch of RoboCops, just as many RoboCops as we can possibly
That
muster.
didn't work in the movie. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? There's no way it didn't work. Tell you what, let's cut the human completely out of the equation of RoboCop. Let's just put an exoskeleton in with a prime detective, and we'll paint them human, but underneath there'll be an exoskeleton.
But
Papa,
how?
that's the Terminator.
But
Well,
how would you get the magnet?
give
How
them
would you get
just
the magnet? That's my question, and this is my answer to my
And
question.
that's the thing.
Cheat codes, because if you somehow enter into another reality, you can just take it from a
You see,
video
I
game.
told you that when you proposed this topic, it would be like this.
about it like this. Technically, there are cheat codes. As much as we want to say that there aren't, there are. Because hackers find that type of stuff. If you can just put in a bunch of code and then oh, sweet, I got a whole bank. Now I can just pull out as much money as I want. It's cheat codes,
Well,
technically.
that was a
It's
cash.
just the fact that you're more likely to get caught because there's also people on the other end like, hey, hold on, that somebody's accessed all these accounts. So it's
Bubba,
not
that's
really cheap.
the
That,
cash app. That's the cash app glitch. And guess how? And guess where that got them? In debt.
yeah, I'm
Very.
not saying that cheat codes don't exist. I'm saying that cheat codes are highly punishable
But
because
what I'm
if
saying is
that's
that
all
you
we
would.
find.
It's great to have all these expectations for the future, but you also have people that are conditioned from old mentalities of that's not going to be possible because one, who's going to fund it? Well, nobody's going to
The
work.
U.S. government.
No one's going to work for free, and they don't believe in just giving out money for that. It'll be
And
a
that's
problem.
why that's where we go back to my original thing that I was trying to say. We get another fantastical thing. In other words, what do we always think when we think, oh, we need to be done in mass amounts. We always go back to fantasy. And what does fantasy do? It gives us the answer to all of our questions and to all of our problems. Because do you know what we look for? We look for something that can go ahead and deplete all this without needing any sort of pay or thrives off of this. In other words, if we got a problem with microplastics, let's find a bacteria that can eat all of these microplastics out of everything, so that we don't need to fish it out of the water ourselves, and we can just keep polluting. If we need all these dirt roads dug up, let's find something that's going to go ahead and eat roads for no reason, just because this is just what it do. The fact is, we always turn to fantasy and we're like, yeah, what if this actually did exist? And you know what would happen? The government would be like, man, this is a great experiment right here. I'm so happy we found this thing that eats roads and eats plastics. Man, when were we gonna find Zeus up in Olympus? Bring him down here. Make make him us green. No dang
And he broke up.
cars, nothing. If we could just strike someone with electricity up in the sky.
He just made the end of the world. I think the stream just cut him off because of that.
Okay.
Like you just proposed the end of the world. Let's put bacteria in the water that eats microplastics. If it's eating microplastics, which is an extremely hard substance to eat through, how is it going to affect fish? And what's going to happen if you consume them?
Okay, this is a fact.
Yeah, I don't,
The moon landing was fixed, and the moon is too low.
but technically, that's a true thing though. What people always think of is some sort of fantastical thing. Because as much as I want to say, as much as anyone wants to say, oh, there's no way that science would ever do that. That's actually what they're doing right now. They're looking for a way to make it so that they can create some sort of bacteria that will eat plastic that they can go ahead and release. Because the fact is, there's too much plastic in the ocean that we can't clean out because it's either all the way down in the depths or it's all the way up here and it's polluting pretty much everything.
Do you
As
not
much
know they just, what was it? As of a night ago, they reported it. Who knows when they actually found out? But they said that there's a cold medicine that doesn't work. If we don't know a lot about medicine, what are we going to be doing tampering with the oceans and
Why do you think zombie movies exist? Because do you think that we look at something and we go, it didn't work, or we don't understand it fully, and we stop? No, there's people out there who are like, I'm heck set on finding the cure to death, and as soon as I find it, I'm gonna test it, and then automatically, you know what you get? You get a dang off freaking Raccoon City incident where everyone's sitting there, and it's like, well, it worked. Technically, they're still alive. Just they just need to be duped now. The experiment failed successfully.
The one and only.
Yeah, no, thank you.
The one and only brother in the room.
We don't want those. We do not want. We definitely do not need a Resident Evil zombie. Because let me tell you,
that's a fact. That's a point of that's pretty much why we have some crimes against humanity in a way. Because what we realize is, what if science does do this? Because then if you get a Frankenstein incident or a freaking Resident Evil style incident, what you realize is, this thing could go very, very wrong. We need to figure out a way to keep morals. You gotta have a moral of the story of why you shouldn't do this. Bring me back to my subject. Reality and fiction, baby. Expectation versus reality. All aligned perfectly.
I do want to say this. It's if you could be stuck or live in any game with your family, friends, and against their will, what world, game, would you live in? I'm not saying all games are worlds.
I
and that
ain't fully acknowledged my gaming reality. I want that game all for myself. I want to go ahead and experience it. Although I do have a certain
There's been several
that's
shows about
a
this.
great way to live.
Just to repeat with Papo's thing of art versus reality, we have Ready Player One, which was a movie that I would suggest everyone go and watch. It gives a very good depiction of what it would look to have augmented reality. And then there's also
one with Pac-Man and all this old games.
Well, ready.
And there's what was it? SAO, which was sort of online anime. They also had predicted that. There's also been more of these, but within shows that they teleport there, but the show is not all about that. Those are just two shows that feature the whole idea of on being locked into augmented reality.
Yeah, but I would say this.
In Freddy World was
Y'all good now.
the world was lazy, and then Sword Art Online, you had a madman that just decided, okay, we're like what Matthew said, you're just gonna live in this game against your will because I want you to. We can all live in harmony here.
In my computer. Forever. Have you leave
But
the
that's
game?
the thing about it, though. Because in all honesty, that brings us more into the problem. Because the reason, and also, I do want to say this real quick. If there's anybody posting comments out there, I'm afraid that we cannot see them because there might be something going wrong with StreamYard. But
So
we will try to look at them later and see if there are some sort of comments that we might have missed, and we will try to address that because though this may be acting real weird at the moment, we're definitely really interested in what people have to say. Just want to throw that out there real quick.
That's why I was also thinking about maybe cutting it off soon at 50 minutes because I don't know what's going on with this.
Yep, that might be a good idea.
It keeps
And
doing.
we'll see about it. Because the fact is, as much as all this is happening, I am pretty sure that at the very least we might be getting some sort of responses. And I hate to go ahead and cut this discussion short because after all, there are still some things I want to say it. Because like you just said, Teddy, Ready Player One and SAO is pretty much done two different ways. Ready Player One is a more dystopian take on what if everything was virtual reality, which becomes a bit of an issue because what you're sitting there thinking is, in other words, Ready Player One is the more human take on what we would do with such virtual reality because we would
you're still governed under people that could have bad influence.
Yeah. You've got people that are like, there's still a hierarchy, there's still rich, poor, and low class and middle class, and it goes on from there. And then SAO is pretty much them being like, you know what? You went in here to escape. You're never going to escape. This is life now. Welcome. Enjoy your life.
Yeah, you die here, you die in real life.
But that's the point. But the point about it is what they do, because if virtual reality ever became a thing, is technically what those things show you is if virtual reality ever became a thing with the current reality we have now, we would go ahead and try to use it in our own human type mentality. We go ahead and be like, well, you can play this game, but it'll only be an escape to reality, and depending on your placement in this game, you'll also have a certain placement in reality. And
yeah, you also have, and there's that part of privilege. There's pay-to-win games. If you already are rich in reality, and then you go into a virtual reality, you basically get whatever you want. Well, now you make life hard for people in there as well. So it wouldn't be good to stretch our reality from uh, the real world to a augmented one, based on the premises that it wouldn't be equal. And after a while, if you remember, it wasn't always like that. But some
Yeah, that's
madman
because
decided,
and then
well, he
becomes
wasn't
a
really
greater
mad.
problem.
He just wanted, he thought that it would be a good idea. The problem was that people have twisted ideas. And after a while, after years, he had said, that became the, the norm. Everyone had the console. Everyone had the treadmill to do that on. But if you looked at the world around them, it was unkept. Wasn't
Yeah, because if you're only going to if your escape is the game, then all you're doing in reality is eating, pooping, doing your bodily functions, and doing whatever you have to in reality to keep yourself alive, and then you just go into virtual reality and do whatever you want there, because
yeah,
the fact this has become your world now. You no
you know
longer.
what that's called? That's called the Matrix.
Well, it goes back to that one question that was asked a while back of if somebody, let's say at this very moment, somebody took off a headset and all this reality, everything you're watching, everything you're looking at right now just fades. And then you're sitting in a room with a bunch of scientists and they're looking at you and they say you've been in a simulation for such and such many years. And then they ask you the question, do you want to go back in or do you want to live out your life here? Many people would the most people would probably say that they want to go back in. Some may say that they want to that they want to live reality. But the fact is, no matter what you do now, your entire thought process is this, all this was reality. Whether it was or wasn't. The fact is, you're now thinking, what was better, this reality or that? And
You make the comparison between the two, and I think that's why another reason of people always expect. There's that word again. That, well, it'll be easy to disengage from social media. Not really, because you have established a profile, an extension of your life. You yourself might know, well, it's not life. I can't be on there 24/7 talking to people and doing this. But you can be, you can still be engaging with people online to the extent that you think that it is real conversations, if not better, because you can go and pull up a meme real quick that expresses yourself. You can do things like that and converse with your friends. The problem is that how do you pull away from all that, and then you still have to go back to work, and you might not be able to be on there like that, and then it is unfortunately it has led to depression. We just finished up our IT course, and that's kind of what we had talked about. A lot of people are disengaged from reality because reality kind of sucks.
But Papa, I wanted to say something before Tay is talking. But what if you think that's reality, but then you try taking off a headset again and you realize they were lying. They were also a part of a simulation, and it just goes on
well,
for
then
like
you become
more time, and you wake up
everything
to
you know was probably fake and a fantasy, and people have probably been right when they said that the universe was a simulation. And then you really have a problem here because if we're imagining a world that's this messed up and up with pollution and stuff, let me ask you, what does the real world look like? Am I about to take off this headset and learn that everything there is much, much worse, and I'm just pretty much
you're going
living
to take
in
off your
all
head to a beautiful land called Ula.
if I take off a headset and somebody says welcome to Wula, I I'm going back here. I'm not. I'm not.
It's
Earth
Bahula.
sounded, Earth
Whatever
sounded more normal than Woola.
or whatever that sound
It
that
depends on whichever reality seems to best fit, because humans are also opportunists. If it looks like, man, my life was horrible here, let me go back into reality and do something here. Or if you wake up and your reality is like the Matrix, is run over with machines, and you're barely eating anything, some people might say, well, I'm
Yeah,
no
you'll
main
get like that
character.
one dude in
I'm
the first Matrix eating a
well,
whole steak with an agent going like, I know this crap ain't real, but dang, it's good. That's all I want.
Yeah, you would have people like that. But getting getting back to our centered reality, you would have to. We already have a taste of what it would be like to be wrapped into a virtual reality. You have social media. A lot of people have Discord, WeChat, other things that you can do anything from around the world with other people, but it's not your reality. In reality, you could be sitting there talking to your friends. They're all they're on the other side of the world. It's nighttime for them. It's daytime for you, and vice versa. But you got to get up in the morning, and it's like, man, I can't talk to them. Now I'm sitting here sad, but I got to go throughout the day and do this. The depression, and look, if we ever really want to know what's going on with that, why people feel so lonely in a world that basically can connect anything just as we are right now, uh, through a camera or over here on the side with the chat and comments with other people from anywhere in the world, that is kind of some extent of what could happen in other versions of technology. It's just as we get more advanced into it, how much more you'll be able to engage. If you go into a full-on involvement where you're actually able to touch things, we talked about touch and vision a while ago. Our versions of it was messed up, where some people would give hugs through the screens, other people would probably get slapped through the screens.
and other people would hold people at hostage at the screen.
Because I mean, if you're wearing a vest or a whole bodysuit,
And you can't take it off because the zipper's broken.
and it's because it's the only gateway that you have to the augmented reality, then yeah, you might get a punch like, did you really just say that?
Well,
Back.
it
Or
becomes
in hold hostage.
oh, go ahead, Matt.
Or you could get hold hostage in VR. Or
Yeah, but then it becomes even worse because think about what will happen if you're like, oh, that's my food, and you just pause for a moment, and then you forgot to pause. Automatically, somebody's just like, you know what? And then they just punch you in the thing, and it's like, oh. And then you realize there is no such thing as pausing on online in virtual reality.
that
There's
goes
only
out.
Yeah, there's no, you can't pause online games. Same thing is, you can't put a pause to life. I'm pretty sure a whole lot of people would like, you know
Man, if I could find a Wii controller that would pause reality, I'd be so good. So many
Like,
things.
I'm not too much feeling this assignment right now
See, I paused
from work or school. Let me go and hit the snooze, the pause
You just have
button.
to be very careful, though. If you pause reality, you have to know, don't click the left button. What that will do will send you back to main menu, and you'll be back at the time before the Big Bang ever happened. And you will learn, just like everyone before you, that clicking exit on reality is not a good thing. You won't meet God too soon. That'll take 5 seconds.
exit.
Something's wrong with y'all. But we're coming to the end of our hour. It's been a good conversation. I know we didn't have too much conversation in the chat today. It's been a slow day, and like I said, they're repairing flooding over here, and there's a lot of things going on in the world right now.
But the simulation is recovering. After all the lag and the turmoil and the intern deciding that he hates this job and pouring water onto our system, the developers have finally fixed all the bugs, and now
Wait,
anyone who dared defy the simulation is immediately kicked to the main menu. So
huh?
now everything is right in
Huh,
the world.
don't tell me you threw your face on the moon and you now are bringing it to the earth.